Hi everyone. If you're here, my heart goes out to you because you're not here for no reason. Um, I'll be sharing the story of my miscarriage at 12 weeks, which happened about a month ago. If you're going through this or have just recently gone through it, or maybe it wasn't even directly your experience, but one that a loved one has gone through, please know that you have my deepest compassion and sympathy and empathy. Grief is a struggle, and sometimes it even presents itself when you weren't really expecting it, and especially when you're not ready for it. So my experience started 4 weeks ago. I was just turning 12 weeks pregnant, and it was a Saturday. We were out walking through one of the holiday displays, one of the light shows, and I started to feel really crappy. And I wouldn't say that I was having cramps, but I wasn't feeling like myself. I got home, discovered that I was spotting. I sent a few messages to my sisters. She said, don't worry about it. And truly, if it's just spotting, it's nothing to worry about. It was roughly the same amount as when I got my pap smear initially at the beginning of the pregnancy. It was a little bit here and there. I went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and in the afternoon, the spotting came back. It started to ramp up. I started to experience cramping more similar to like a normal period. Mine aren't terribly painful. I have gone through a few really terribly painful periods in the past, but this felt more like a normal period. As evening approached, the blood became a richer color that looked more concerning. I had been visiting with the midwives that work at my hospital. Their facility was closed. I did reach out to them. They were closed. It didn't feel like an emergency situation to me. If I had been in a lot of abdominal pain or if I were really dizzy, then it might have warranted a hospital visit. But by then I knew that a miscarriage was happening. I didn't feel that I needed hospital assistance. And I was just going to allow nature to make the choice. That's all you really can do. So as things went more sideways, I spent a lot of my time just trying to relax, making trips to the bathroom. If you have had period cramps, you know how that can feel to want to push. And around 9 o'clock, we had put our 2-year-old to bed, and we were relaxing on the sofa. And I would say that I was now in a level of pain more similar to like the worst period pain I'd ever had. And while that also didn't warrant a hospital visit, I would say that it was maybe a 7 on a pain scale. It was too much to try and sleep through. So my husband and I finished watching a show. I went to the bathroom to clean myself up and get ready for bed. And something shifted, where I was no longer having the worst period of my life. I thought a miscarriage would be really similar to a period. I was now in the worst pain I had ever experienced. I was crying. I don't think I've cried from pain since I was a child. I spent a lot of time on my bed trying to relax, doing a wide knee child's pose to try and just comfort myself in that way. And my husband came in, I laid my head into his lap, and I felt a water break, which was really surprising when I delivered my first, my only. I didn't have a normal experience with her being born. I'd gotten really sick. So I was induced and ended up getting even sicker, needed an emergency C-section. So I never had a water break, but it felt like someone popped a water balloon inside of me, and I was wearing the absorbent panties for periods, and it felt like the whole thing was just flooded with water. So I got up from the bed, I went into the bathroom, my husband drew me a bath. I said, something's coming. I assumed that there was going to be some sort of laboring process. I had something more similar to a labor and delivery thereafter than a regular period. And I spent time laboring in the tub. When my body wanted to push, I would get out and sit on the toilet and let my body do whatever it needed to do. It didn't feel like what most women describe of their delivery of cramping and I'm forgetting the word, mom brain, of cramping and the body readying to bring this baby into the world, where there is a little bit of a cramp and then a break, and contractions. It didn't feel like normal contractions. I didn't experience them, but it wasn't a small contraction and a break and a contraction with increasing strength and frequency. It just felt like one big seizure of the area. It felt so painful and tense and tight, as if the body was just saying out, 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 out. It wasn't a feeling of there's something in you that needs to really be preciously cared for and delivered in a healthy, joyful way. It was the body saying, something has gone wrong. I need this out. So while other women can miscarriage and experience something similar over the course of weeks, mine was several hours from the time that I had that initial bad period pain, the worst period I ever had pain, to the labor and delivery portion of this experience, which was 90 or so minutes of back and forth, warm bathtub, towel over my belly to keep it warm, getting out onto the toilet. Eventually I moved in the bathtub from lying down to sitting and putting myself upright, and then eventually squatting and getting myself ready to use gravity to do what the body was trying to do. Around 10:30 in the evening, I got out of the bathtub for the last time of that labor period, and felt like I wanted to push. Feels like going to the bathroom. You might go to the bathroom. I was in so much pain that I got dizzy and almost fainted. I called out for my husband, who was doing something in the kitchen. I had sent him away for the moment to go and get something. And the dizziness and the lightheadedness stuck around for 10 seconds. I swooned, and then my body pushed out what felt like a water balloon. Your healthcare provider might call it a gestational sac. I don't know exactly what was in it, if it was a placenta or some kind of other membrane in which that little baby would have been held. But I did feel it come out, and the pain stopped immediately. And that intensity was physically over. There was a lot of blood in the bathtub from the body releasing the lining in my uterus that would feed and protect that baby and allow it to anchor onto the walls. So we drained the bathtub, cleaned it up, filled it with some more water just so I could relax. The blood kept coming. The blood will keep coming after that. You need to get everything out. Good reasons to go to the hospital other than pain, lightheadedness would be a lot of blood soaking through a tampon or a pad in an hour. And thereafter, even, if you have a similar experience or had a similar experience, if there's so much blood coming out that it's unmanageable, one pad should be enough for an hour. If it's more than that, you may need some help to make sure that you're physically safe and well. That'd be a good reason to go and seek medical attention. I didn't require that. I let the bleeding take its course. From the point of miscarriage to when the bleeding stopped, I would say it was about a week, lessening throughout the days, similar to a period. And I did see my healthcare provider, my midwife, at the hospital 3 days later. I didn't need a confirmation of miscarriage. I knew it had happened, but we did some blood work. They wanted to make sure that my HCG levels were plummeting and going right down. And they advised me that this doesn't happen because of us. It's not something that we did or didn't do. Barring something like a traumatic car accident, and by traumatic I mean like physically traumatic, a hit to the abdomen. This isn't something that happened because we had a piece of sushi or an extra cup of coffee, or because you sucked on your tummy that night. It's not us that controls this. We can keep ourselves as healthy as we can, but we're not ultimately in control, and miscarriage is relatively common. A statistic I read was 10 to 20% of women who conceive. It might be even higher than that. Of course, we know earlier in the pregnancy it's more common, less common as you approach the 12 and 14 week marks and you make it out of your first trimester. But it's not something that you do or didn't do. It just is something that happens when now is not the time. I will make a couple of videos on grieving and grief, but to bring some additional clarity and closure to this video, I am B negative blood, so it was important for me to go see my healthcare provider. I received a shot that had I not gotten it, it could have made it more difficult for me to conceive in the future, which my husband and I do want another child. We want a sibling for our baby girl, who's not a baby anymore. She's 2.5. But checking in with whoever you've been trusting through this process. I'm a little skittish of Western medicine. I think many people are. No judgment, it is what it is. You go to the person that you trust and listen to their expertise and listen to your own inner wisdom. There's no doctor who's going to know you better than you. They might know body systems, but if your intuition tells you something's right or wrong for you, or you're having a discernment that is different than the information you're getting, it's okay to go and vet that, whether it's talking to other healthcare professionals, or sitting with your own guidance system. But do make sure that you have the support that you need in a form that feels supportive to you and kind and loving. In the days following my miscarriage, while I grieved, the care that I received from my midwife and from a couple of the staff nurses was so much more than I could have gotten from many of the people who love me. They were women who had gone through similar experiences and were able to hold me and cry with me and tell me it was going to get better, and it does. And there's no fast route through grieving. You can detach yourself from stories in your head about why it happened or what it means about you, but as our emotions come up, we're just called to feel them, and there's no quick route through that. So if that's where you are right now, I hope that this video has helped you. I hope that if you're going through a miscarriage, that you find a way to make this potentially really sad, really painful experience into a net positive by changing the stories you might have to something uplifting and finding peace with it. And maybe you record your own story, or find some other way to make a negative into a positive. You're able to do that too. I love you, friend. I wish your heart healing. And if you want to write your story in the comments, or ask a question, or just talk through the comment section, I'll do my very best to respond. And hopefully I will see you again soon.